Good day there viewers, and welcome to my channel called Vintage Time. My name is Cliff and I'm a gem cutter from Australia. A warm welcome to all my regular viewers, and if you're new to my channel and you've never seen how a gemstone has been cut, well, we're certainly glad that you could join us also. In today's episode I'll be faceting a replica of a red diamond, and this particular diamond is known as the DeYoung Diamond. Of all the diamonds on the planet, the red diamond is the most expensive and the most sought after. And for those of you who've never heard of the DeYoung red diamond, well, it's a 5.03 carat unmounted rare red diamond. It's the third largest red diamond in the world and the only one on public display. Sydney DeYoung, for whom the diamond was named after, obtained the diamond, which was mistaken for a garnet, at a flea market. The diamond was given to the Smithsonian Institution after DeYoung's death in 1986. So let's get the project started. For me to facet this replica diamond, I'll be using synthetic ruby, and what you see me holding now is a half bull of lab created ruby, and this is the closest material I think I can use. Now, with lab created material like synthetic ruby or sapphire, they come in different shades, and you can see that this particular bull is a lighter pink, but I'll be using the darker color because I think it reflects more the color of what the red diamond looks like. And here you can see that I've got a small preform, and I'll be using this preform to facet the actual gem. For those of you who've never heard of synthetic ruby or synthetic sapphire, I'll drop in a link in the description area where I've made some videos several months ago on the subject of synthetic gems. Before I start faceting the replica of the DeYoung red diamond, let's have a look at the sequencing and the design of this particular gem. Now, I'm using Gem Cut Studio, which is software for designing gems. So this design is a modification of the standard round brilliant, starting off with your 16 break facets, cutting in the girdle outline, followed by the main facets cut in, and then 8 horizontal facets forming the coulette, which is a variation. Now, the facets on the diamond's crown, which resemble kites, are split in two horizontally. Now, this feature makes the DeYoung diamond more brilliant than other diamonds with an ordinary round brilliant cut. So there we have it, and as you can see, this particular design is quite a bit different than the typical standard round brilliant. The crown of the gem has a very low profile, so that will suit a piece of rough that doesn't have a lot of depth. And as a gem cutter, it just gives you a different option than just the typical round brilliant that most faceters cut all the time. So this is something different. As you can see, I've got the preform glued onto the dop stick, all set to go, and I'm trying to keep the size of this replica diamond to the size of the original gem, so it's going to be quite tiny. For those of you who don't know, that was my dog Jaws, and he likes to laugh a lot, usually at my expense. But little does he know that I actually have faceted huge gems in my life. Anyway, let's get the show on the road and start faceting. So when we're faceting, let's say a gem between 4 to 8 millimeters, you don't want to be using too coarse a grit. So a 600 grit disc is probably perfect, or 800 grit diamond topper lap, but don't go using a 240 or even a 100 grit lap. That's way too aggressive for this size gem. If you were to facet, for example, a 3mm gem, then I would back off on the coarseness of the grit. For example, I would start to use a 1200 grit topper lap, or even a 3000 grit topper lap. So you don't want to be going too aggressive, and the reason why is that you can actually tear the gem off the dop. So what you try to do is accommodate the right size grit to match the right size stone. So as you can see here, I've cut the first set of 16 brake facets using a 600 grit diamond topper lap, and if you look closely you'll notice that some of the facets don't meet a true center point, but that will be fixed up when I move on to a finer grit lap. In this scene you can see that the facets are a lot cleaner, so I've used an 800 grit diamond topper lap, and then I'll move on to a pre-polish using a copper lap, once again using a 5 micron diamond paste. So I'm ready to start the first phase of polishing this synthetic ruby on a copper lap, and when I say the first phase, what I mean by that is when it comes to faceting sapphire or rubies, or even synthetic sapphires or rubies, they are part of the corundum family, and it has a Mohs hardness of about 9. But when it comes to gems in the corundum family, they have a propensity to get what is called orange peel. There are a lot of opinions and speculation about what causes orange peel. In my opinion, orange peel is caused specifically by not doing a proper pre-polish. So for example, with most other gem families like quartz or say beryls, when you do a pre-polish with a 5 micron diamond paste, it will cut through the skin of the last disc that you used to grind it with. However, when it comes to gems in the corundum family, that first pre-polish is not enough to remove that layer or that skin from the last grinding of the topper lap, even if it was a 3000 grit diamond topper lap, which would be considered a pre-polish. So when you look under magnification of a loop, you see on the surface a speckly white sandblasted look, and you think, well, I'll go on to the final polish and that'll remove that. And the reality is it just doesn't, and you get little speckles and dimples within the surface of the gem, and that's what's called orange peel. And so what you've got to do is go on to the next step, which you can see I'm doing here. I'm using a 1.5 micron diamond paste, and many people would use this for a final polish, but this will remove that sandblasted speckly look, and then what you'll notice is that the surface is looking a lot more like a proper pre-polished surface, and then you can go on to the final polish. As I said earlier, there are different opinions on what causes orange peel. A lot of people think that it's caused by microfine gas bubbles within the sapphire or ruby. So when you go to do a final polish, you're actually polishing through those gas bubbles, revealing little dimples in the gem. I don't think that's true. So as you can see here, that the surface of the gem is a lot better looking than before. So I've already cut the girdle facets and I've left that out, but I have plenty of videos where I show you how to cut a girdle, so you can refer to that. And I've also polished the girdle facets. Very important that you polish the girdle facets. I know that a lot of gem cutters don't do that part of the process, but when you see unpolished girdle facets on a gem, it stands out like white balls on a black dog. As you can see here, the first set of pavilion facets and the girdle has been polished in these scenes. So to cut in the other two sets of the pavilion facets, I'll be just pre-polishing those in and then doing a final polish, and you'll see all that coming up in the following scenes, and then I'll be faceting the crown. So we're on to faceting the crown, and I've done the secondary transfer. I haven't shown you this because I've done this so many times in other videos, so if you want to see how you do the secondary transfer, you can check that out. So when you're faceting the crown, not a lot changes apart from different angles and different shaped facets, of course, but you're using the same sequence of polishing and grinding laps, so that doesn't change, because you want to keep consistency when you're cutting certain gems. Also, in the next couple of weeks, I don't expect to make too many videos on gem cutting, except for my patrons who are supporting my channel through Patreon. And I'm pretty close to buying a webcam, and if I've got enough money I might try and get one if they're available, because most of these webcams are imported and there are very few imports coming into Australia at the moment. In point of fact, I'm teaching myself a different way of faceting, and it's actually keeping me awake at night thinking about this, because at the moment this style of faceting really only does suit competition faceting, but it breaks all the rules known to faceting and all the rules that we are taught within faceting. I'm absolutely convinced that this style of faceting and this technique that I'm teaching myself, because I've never read about it, I've never seen this approach taken before, and it defies logic, but in terms of accuracy it is way more accurate in meat point faceting than conventional faceting that you see on my channel or any other channel or what you read about. Without giving too much away, this style of faceting will work mainly on most Australian machines and probably some earlier US machines, but I really doubt that it would be that effective on the more modern machines. So this is something I'm working on, and that's why I won't be doing too many other projects in the next couple of weeks. Anyway, let's get back on track, and you'll see in the following scenes how the crown starts to develop with all these additional facets. Before we finish up, I'd like to thank all these people, as these gifts arrived in the mail today. And this card says, "Dear Cliff, a friend of yours who wishes to remain anonymous is gifting you the Morganite, Congo Tourmaline, Amethyst Ametrine. Please accept the Prasiolite as a gift from me. Best, Joe." I would like to thank both this lady and Joe for sending me these wonderful gems to facet. Thank you for your kindness and generosity, it means a lot to me. And also some of these gems like the Morganite and the Ametrine, these are gems that I've been wanting to facet for so long, but they are very expensive in Australia because our Aussie dollar is worth nothing, so to get them imported they cost a fortune, and it's a little bit out of my price range and budget. So if you're looking to buy quality gem rough material to facet, I'll drop in a link of Joe's website in the description area. It's called Joe Henley Rough, so take a look at his website and you can see some of the wonderful gems that he sells. So last but not least, thank you to Tony for sending me this black jade. I look forward to giving this a go one day on my faceting machine. And also he sent me one of these specialised transfer jigs. Now my transfer jig has at times inaccuracy problems. It's spring loaded, so on the secondary transfer it pulls the gem to one side, which means that you have problems fastening the crown with accuracy. So this is an amazing gift. Thanks Tony, I've been wanting one of these for so long. So in closing, I'd like to thank all my subscribers for taking the time to watch my videos. We have the final reveal coming up where you see this replica red diamond in its full glory. It's bye for now. Take care everyone.